Hi, Robin. Well, thank you very much for joining us here at the webcast. It's very nice of you to join us here at propertyonion.com and share some of your experiences. So let me just ask you a very quick question. How long have you been in the property business?
I started this speculation in 2009, right after the crash, trying to get into it. And I actually did my first purchase in 2011. So it's been a few years. It's been good getting in 2011. It was scary because it's something that I had done no research on it, just wanted to get into it and went for it. So,
Right. And what made you get into it? What attracted you?
I heard a lot of people talk about the gains from it, and wanted to see what it was all about. So there was this course that I actually took only after I purchased the house to see if there's any other opportunities to get into it and how to go about doing it. Because I went in blindly, and I thought, okay, you know what, I needed to do some courses to figure out if I could learn from these real estate courses that they had to be able to expand the portfolio. But so really to get into it, it was I wanted to just get my foot wet and see what it was all about. So,
and how many properties have you bought and sold so far?
So right now my portfolio is rental business, six properties that I have since 2011. I've sold two, but most of my portfolio represents rental income, and
Nothing wrong
haven't
with
been doing
passive
much
income.
of the. Yes. So,
Okay, and so we talked about several properties last week, and what I'd like to do is I want to go just over some of them with you. I'm going to share my screen with everybody here so that they can all see what we're talking
sure.
about here. So talk me through this first property here.
Sight and scene.
Yes.
Interesting
How
one.
did you find it?
So this one came up as a wholesale deal. So I thought, okay, let me put it in. He gave me some rough pictures of it, and this was one of them.
Well,
I
it's
thought,
very
okay,
rough.
maybe it's just
Very
some
rough.
minor repairs. Yeah, exactly. So sight and scene was a rough one. So it's 34,000. I put the money in, won the bid, and owned the house. And I think it was about a month and a half later, he called me and I said, you know, I want to go down and see the place now because I want to start doing some work on it. So what I did is I took a trip down and realized that there was a tenant in the place, but it was her mom who was actually squatting in the place. So it was a bit of a pain to get them out.
Sure.
When I walked into the house, it was a complete gut and redo.
So it looks like you did quite well with this, actually, as it so happens, because if we go to the next slide here. Oh, sorry. So that's what it ended up as, yeah? So why don't you talk us through this?
Yeah, so after $40,000 of rehab, there was a point in this where I didn't think I would get it finished because, again, we try to get people around the area to employ to be able to do all the repairs. On this one, I did quite a bit of the work myself and try to be there on the spot doing it. It got to 40,000 only because some of the work I didn't have the time to actually be there to do it. So that's why it got to 40,000.
All right. And you said, I mean, you said that you did some of it yourself. Do you have a skill set in terms of actually building?
Yes. Well, I have a lot of experience in doing handiwork. You know, drywall, framing. You know, I've done a lot of that on my own. So you know, I go in, look at the situation, and try to assess.
Sure. And where do you usually? I mean, obviously you've got contractors that you can call upon. I mean, where? I mean, how did you find them?
So basically, what I try to do is the first property that you showed on there. It's you go to the area, you see it, and then I just start looking around the area to find locals because locals know the area better than I do, and if there's any equipment, any materials that you store in the house, at least you won't lose it, because some part, like
Sure.
in particular this one, is not necessarily a good neighborhood. So it was.
So this is the another property that you've now shown us here. So why don't you walk and talk us through
Okay.
this, because this looks a very good return.
So this was actually the first property I purchased. It's in West Palm Beach. Purchased it for 50,000. Rented. It was already tenanted, so I purchased it from the owner with current tenants in it. You see there is in preparation to sell.
Right.
So with the tenants in there, they had stopped paying rent, and I thought, you know what? Let me see if I can gain some cash from this to expand, doing other things with it, because the property was in fairly good shape.
Right.
So yeah, so 1 year after, I sold it for 80,000.
And how did you find the property? How did you come about it?
So this one was I went on Zillow and saw the listing, called an agent, and it turned out that the agent was actually the wholesaler who I was.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it started with the wholesaler from this one.
Okay. So I mean, you do like using wholesalers. I mean, they are actually a good source. And you know, Property Onion, I know that you've just joined and looked at. I mean, that has a very big wholesaler section as well, so it would fit in with what you know, your buying style, so to speak.
Yeah. So from the wholesaling, I mean, there's other opportunities. I just find that the retail stuff is a little more difficult to get in terms of flexibility and pricing. So
Yeah, because I mean, there's quite a swing actually also from West Palm Beach, from was it the other location? So yeah, so you don't really, I mean, you're not really that area sensitive, are you? I mean, you do actually float around, so to speak.
yeah, so one of the things that I was doing is looking at up and coming areas. So after the first purchase, I started to think, okay, well, let me concentrate mainly on West Palm Beach, and which is what ended up happening for the other two that we will talk about. But the whole point is that area was known as a high crime area, and then when I was reading up on it, they were coming out of it. So there was more police presence, more community policing, and so on. So it was actually improving. So purchasing it, had I kept it, it would have been worth 160,000 today.
Right.
So I mean, I had to make a move in order to expand what I was doing.
Sure.
So,
Well, this next house that we're going to have a look at now, this is an enormous return. Did very, very well on this one. So
this.
where can I ask you, where is this property? What is it? Is it a 2-bed? I mean, explain to me what the size is and the beds and bath situation.
So this is a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, with the carport on the side. Most of the other properties like this one, what the owners have done is they've changed the carport into another bedroom, so it becomes a 3-bedroom. So again, in the future, I could possibly do this. This particular property is just around the corner from the other one we talked about in West Palm Beach, and again, this came up. No work to be done. Basically, I just got the keys. It was not. So
was there much competition on that property to get in there and buy it? I mean, what was the time from the minute that you heard about the property to the minute you bought it? What was that time scale?
2 days.
Really? So yeah.
Yeah. So here's. I mean, you're probably familiar with the wholesale business. The deals comes up, and the guy goes, "You give me a day or two, and if you don't, somebody else is going to snap it. So you have to make a down payment right away to hold it. So if you don't do that, you don't get it, because within a day or two it's gone."
Sure.
So.
Well, it's also good it was in the same area, so it kind of, you had a bit more of an idea of what it could do and how much it could fetch, and you went about it with a bit more confidence.
Yes.
So, tell me about this one.
Okay, so this is very close to where I am, because as I told you, I live in Canada, so I'm just investing in the States. So from the sale of the first one, the one that we talked about that what sold for 80, I was able to use that money to buy this and others, right? So that actually gave me some a boost. So this in Niagara Falls was same wholesale deal, another wholesaler though it was somebody different,
Yeah, well,
and
obviously, yeah.
yeah, it was they were asking 27 on it. I made a firm offer of 20 without any inspections and got it. This one was tenanted.
Mhm.
Um, there was not the house needs minor work, but because there was tenants in it, I didn't have to do anything. So it was an automatic positive income from the day I bought it, right?
Were
So
they paying $800 when you bought it, or was that they left and you put another tenant in there for $800?
no, actually, they only recently left. Only like a month ago they left because of the COVID 19 and unemployment and stuff. So they left, and I was able to get another tenant in there. But yes, from the day I bought it, I was earning $800 rent from that point.
I mean, because at the end of the day, I mean, that is a really enormous return. I mean, people would break your arm off to get a return like that. I mean, it's really good. I mean, so, I mean, how, you obviously must spend a lot of time trying to find, well, speaking to wholesalers. I mean, you've now had a chance, actually. I know that this one we just talked about, you actually bought in Canada. But you've had a chance to look at the Property Onions site. What is your first opinion of it? What is your what do you think that can help you now that you've seen it?
Definitely. If I was new into the business and I had to subscribe to Property Onion, a lot of people have to do one thing, and it's the same thing I didn't do when I first got the link and so on. I kind of registered, but I didn't go into in depth. Only after our conversation last week did I actually go through it and realize two of the properties that I purchased from the auction is on your on your website.
Right.
So it's interesting how concise it is because you kind of get everything in one little website, right? So it's pretty concise.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry,
so
go on,
I would basically recommend for new and upcoming people to definitely look at the website and and um, and go through the webinars and stuff and seminars that you have on there
Hmm.
because it has a lot of information. It's a wealth of information in one place.
Well, it also actually the website, not to toot our own horn, also um, covers for it has material in there for the seasoned investor as well. I mean, you learn something new every day, and so the object of the exercise is to share our experiences with each other, and then an article gets written about somebody's experience, and you can learn from someone else's. So it's got something for everyone, and I'm glad that
Yeah.
you're going to see and hopefully carry on using it to your advantage. So let's ask you another one. Tell me about this particular property, because
Yeah.
this
So
is
this
a
one.
really this is your best deal you've done. If
Yeah. So this one. In order to do this, I had to actually get a partner because it was um, good from an investment perspective, but bad from what was required to get it going. Like you see, it's $80,000. So I got somebody else involved with me, and we purchased this one. Went in there, and there was fire damage. See, the house looks really nice as it is here, but
sure.
off to the left where that boarded window is, that entire bedroom there, and the whole basement, and to the back of this property is a like a solarium, and it was all burnt.
Wow.
Kitchen was all gone. So it started in the kitchen and it burnt quite a bit.
Hmm.
Um, it took a while.
But it looks
Um,
like most of the framework was saved. Am I right?
the exterior framework was solid, but the whole flooring system had to be removed and replaced.
So
Yes.
let me ask you, what is your medium to long term aspirations now? Is there any, are you looking for finance? Are you, just tell me, where you are in the process, so to speak.
So right now I had some pretty lucrative deals, and my personal venture now is to partner up with some someone who has the financing in order to expand hugely within the next year or two. My ultimate goal is to have 20 to 30 properties, positive income, uh, passive cash flow, where it's just bringing in the money, and I can retire. And then I want to do this on a full-time basis, retire from my day job, so to speak,
Mm.
and get into the real estate 100%, because I think there's a lot of potential in the Florida area. Vero Beach is one of the areas that I'm looking at right now because I have two other properties I bought off the auction, the tax deed auction, and I want to build on them now. So because I want to build a house on these properties, that's why I need the financing and the cash and so on. Being Canadian, it's hard to come by.
Well, Robin, what we're going to do,
No,
we're going to put your details on our
I'm hoping
website.
that people who are looking at this,
Yes, no,
yeah,
absolutely. We're going to put your details on our website. So, guys, when you finished watching watching this webcast, you can find Robin's details if you're interested in getting together with him. Robin, I want to thank you for taking the time to share some of your deals with us and your experiences. It's really great, and I thank you for taking part. Thank you very much, and carry on the good work.
thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.